Hello. The purpose of this short video is to help you through Journal Z by offering you a few quick pointers on how to use our library's databases to find sources for your research paper or for Journal Z. Alright, first things first, got to get to the library homepage. Just click on the library link. Once you're here at the library homepage, you want this link: Articles in Journals, Newspapers, Magazines. Click on it. Once you're to the library databases page, you'll see you have quite a few choices. These are categories of databases organized roughly by subject. So if you know which particular field you'd like to search through, you should start by clicking on one of those subjects. If, however, you aren't really sure, you always have the option of clicking on All Databases just to see all the choices you have. I'm going to click on All Databases. As you can see, there are quite a few possibilities. Now, in the Journal Z prompt, I recommended that you use Academic Search Premier and another database called JSTOR. There it is. But rather than show you how to use those two, I'm going to use one that's very similar and one which will produce some interesting results for our football and head injury discussion. You're perfectly welcome to use this database as well, and that is the Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection. So here I'm going to click on it. This database looks a lot like Academic Search Premier. And like Academic Search Premier, it's hosted by this company called EBSCO. The main thing to note is that you have multiple fields in which to enter key terms, and then you have a whole bunch of choices as to how to restrict the results that it sends back to you. We're going to start by adding some restrictions to our search. First and foremost, let's say we want to receive only full-text articles. By clicking this box, you're guaranteeing that whatever the database retrieves for you will have the full article attached to it, so that you could download it or print it right there, or email it to yourself. So that's a good thing to click. Now the other choice that's important here is peer-reviewed. This is another phrase, of course, for scholarly source or academic source, and you want to click this box so that whatever the database brings back for you or to you, it will be a scholarly source. Full text, peer-reviewed. Alright. The purpose of this next phase is to show you what happens when you add key terms or combine keywords in new ways in order to manipulate the kind of result you're getting from the database. And of course, what you don't want to get every time is 2,000 sources, because of course you don't have time to look through 2,000 sources, and more importantly, likely in a pile of 2,000, only a few are going to be useful to you. So you want to use key terms effectively in order to limit your search results to a useful pile that you could browse through. You also, of course, want to make sure that that pile actually produces something useful. And thus, patience and creativity are essential ingredients in using key terms to find sources. So, we're in the Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection. So I'm thinking that probably we can find some results on, how a football player's head gets messed up as a result of playing that violent game. So let's just see what happens if we type in football. Okay. Yes, even though we're in the Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection, we got 349 results by searching with the term football. Now, as you may know, of course, football doesn't always mean what we call football in the United States. In fact, most often in the world it refers to what we call the game of soccer. So many of the sources you find may refer in fact to the game of soccer rather than American football. But note that that may not be such a bad thing. If, for instance, you were interested in comparing the rate of head injury in soccer, as we call it, to the rate of head injury in football, as we call it in the United States, well, as you can see, the second article this database retrieved for us deals with exactly that. It gives you information about neuropsychological impairment, that is, brain and mind damage as a result of playing soccer. Alright, so you could click on that source. I'm just going to show you what happens when you do. And there you get the bibliographic information, authors, the source, the actual title of the article up here, a brief abstract, and likewise to the left a full text copy of that article. So if you were to click on this link here, you would download that article and have it. A quick word: as you know, you're required to write a summary for Journal Z. Many people will be tempted to use what they call the abstract to write their summary. Be very careful here. Of course, reading in this abstract is a good idea, but copying it and pasting it into your Journal Z is a very bad idea. So watch out for that. Now, here we are. We can refine our search even more. If we want to skip along and find more sources, let's see what happens when we combine one word with football to try to limit our results to something smaller than 349. Let's write head injury. That cut our results from 349 to 6. So as you can see, that was a pretty powerful combination of terms. So I encourage you to spend a good bit of time coming up with, combining, and recombining different keywords and search phrases in different databases in order to find the article that you'd like to present in Journal Z. Once you've found the article, remember that your job is to first of all write down a works cited entry for that article, which means you'll need to use the MLA handout, and then beneath that works cited entry you'll need to write a one-paragraph summary of the source. And now I know a 25-page scholarly journal article on the neuropsychological impairment suffered by football players is probably not something you're going to be able to digest in 2 days. So this assignment will also call upon your ability to skim and identify important claims and information in an article. And so that's okay. If you skim it, that's fine. Just make sure you skim it carefully and thoughtfully for the main ideas and key statistics or points in the article.